In times of turbulence, we all seek a place of peace, a refuge where we can rest and find strength. Psalm 91 presents us with a powerful promise. God is our refuge. No matter what we face, He is with us, ready to protect us and renew our hope. When the world seems to crumble around us, we need to remember that there is a safe shelter, a place where our soul can rest. If you're going through difficult times, remember that God promises to be by your side. He never abandons us. As Psalm 91 says, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." What comforting words! The Lord is our shelter, and He offers us peace regardless of the chaos around us. He promises protection, renewal, and strength. Dear God, I know that even amid life's turmoil, You are my safe refuge. May I rest in You, knowing that regardless of the difficulties I face, You guard and protect me. Renew my hope and my trust in You. Often we seek answers in the wrong place. We try to solve things with our own strength or seek comfort in temporary sources. But God calls us to trust in Him completely. He promises to be our fortress, our protection. When we take refuge in Him, we can rest, knowing that He is faithful and just to help us. Life is full of uncertainties, but Psalm 91 teaches us that God is constant. He never changes. His faithfulness is eternal. And when we face times of trial, we can turn to Him with confidence, because He has already promised to take care of us. It's not an empty promise. When God promises something, He fulfills it. Lord, help me to trust in You with all my heart, to believe that in You, I will find the refuge and peace I so need. May I set aside fear and rest in Your promises of protection and provision. At this moment I ask you, where have you been seeking refuge? Has it been in God or in other things that are temporary? God is a constant refuge, always present at all times. The peace He offers is lasting, endless. Are you ready to rest in God? In our journey, it's common to feel overwhelmed. Responsibilities, concerns about the future, daily difficulties can leave us exhausted. However, Psalm 91 reminds us that when we find refuge in God, He strengthens us. He not only protects us but also renews us. He gives us strength to continue. Verse 4 of Psalm 91 says, "He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge." Imagine being protected in such a way, like a bird that finds safety under its mother's wings. God presents Himself as the one who guards us from all threats, whether physical or spiritual. He is stronger than any enemy, more secure than any human shelter. God, at this moment I come before You recognizing that my strength comes from You. I ask that You cover me with Your wings, that I may feel Your protective embrace and that my hope be renewed. May I rest knowing that in Your hands I am safe. Sometimes we find ourselves alone, feeling as if there was no one else around us. It's easy to fall into the temptation of believing we're abandoned. But God assures us that He is with us at all times, in all circumstances. When we are fragile, He is our strength. When we are weak, He is our rock. God never leaves us helpless. He promises to be our refuge and our fortress. Even in the most difficult circumstances, He guards us. It doesn't matter if we're facing a great financial, emotional, or even physical challenge. God is with us. He surrounds us with His love and care. Lord, help me remember that even when I feel alone, You are by my side. Renew my hope, strengthen my faith, and make me trust even more in Your promises of protection and support. I ask you now, have you felt God's presence as your refuge? Can you perceive how He has been acting to protect you amid difficulties? Let God be your refuge today. Psalm 91 also speaks about the importance of trusting God as our protector against evil. In verses 5 and 6, we read, "You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday." This is a reminder that, in God, we need not fear what threatens us, whether by day or night. He protects us from all evil, whatever form it takes. God doesn't promise us a life without difficulties, but He guarantees that He will be with us in all battles. He protects us supernaturally. In the world we live in, there are no guarantees of security in things or places, but in God we find true protection. Beloved Father, I cry out to You now, asking that You guard me from all evil. Protect my life, my mind, my health, and my family. May I live without fear, knowing that You are in control of everything. In Your hands I need not fear what is to come. There are times when anxiety takes over and fear of the unknown paralyzes us. We may fear for our health, for our family, or even for the situation of the world around us. But God calls us to rest in Him. He is more powerful than any fear or threat. He is able to guard us from everything that frightens us. God calls us to live free from fear. When we trust in Him, we can have peace, even in the most challenging situations. We are not alone. God is with us, protecting us, guiding us, and guarding us from all evil. Lord, at this moment, I place before you all my fears. Free me from the fear of what I cannot control and help me to trust completely in you. I know that in you I am safe. Have you ever felt fear of something that seemed uncontrollable? At this moment, surrender that fear to God and let Him be your refuge. Trust in God and He will protect you. As we reflect on God's promise to be our refuge, we can perceive that true peace comes from fully trusting in His sovereignty. He not only protects us physically but also gives us inner peace, a peace that goes beyond circumstances. As verse 11 of Psalm 91 says, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." God takes care of us supernaturally, even sending His angels to protect us. This truth brings immense comfort. We are not alone. God is always working in our favor even when we cannot see. He not only guards us but also guides us. He is our refuge in all aspects of life. When we surrender our trust to Him, He takes care of every detail. Lord, I thank you for always being with me. Thank you for sending your angels to guard me and for never abandoning me. May I perceive your hand of protection in all moments of my life. The peace that God gives us doesn't depend on external circumstances. Even in times of turbulence, we can experience His peace. When we take refuge in God, we are filled with a peace that the world cannot offer. This peace allows us to look to the future with confidence, knowing that He takes care of us. God is not only our protector but also our source of peace. He knows what we need and is always working in our favor. His protection has no limits, and His peace has no end. In God we can rest and trust, for He is faithful in fulfilling His promises. In you, Lord, I find peace. Help me to trust in you and rest in your care, knowing that you are always with me. May your peace surround me today and always. At this moment, stop and reflect. Do you feel this peace of God in your life? Can you trust Him in all areas? Let this peace fill your heart now. Finally, Psalm 91 reminds us of the promise of salvation. In the last verses, God tells us, "Because He loves me, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name." Here is the key to true protection and refuge: clinging to God with love. When we seek His presence and trust in His name, He promises to save us and deliver us from everything that threatens us. God is faithful. When we turn to Him, He rescues us. God's protection is not only physical but also spiritual. He guards us from all evil and gives us the assurance that, in the end, we will overcome. We can be certain that, in Christ, we are more than conquerors. Lord, I surrender my life into your hands. May I cling to you with all my heart and trust in your unconditional love. I thank you for being my safe refuge and for delivering me from all evil. Today, I invite you to make a deep reflection. Have you been clinging to the Lord with love and trust? Or have you been trying to walk alone? Let God be your refuge and your strength. And remember, as Psalm 91 says, in God we find true hope, protection, and peace.